Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I'm covering 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days. I'm covering Season 3, Episode 6, and it's called Secret, Secret, I've Got a Secret. I'm watching it on Hulu, so you can watch it there along with me if you want. I've never jumped into 90 Day before. This is my first season with this, and I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I chose Season 3 because it's supposed to be the very best, so I can't wait to get into it. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. So we start out with Angela and Michael, one of my favorite couples. Oh God. So they just got to she just got to Nigeria, right? To see her fiance Michael. She's only been one other time. They literally just landed. They're pulling away from the airport. It's unclear if she stopped to smoke or to wait for a production van because there's this van in front of them. And all of a sudden, at the end of the last episode, you start hearing yelling and a big commotion, and she jumps out of the car and she's yelling. Well, what's happened is these guys, they laid spikes in front of his car. They're trying to get his car not working so they can tow it. So he's hollering, and it's huge, and he's going up against all these guys. And it looks like production's getting involved, and he's explaining, I have to be tough because in Nigeria, everybody tries to scam you. And if you don't act like this, then your things will get taken from you. It's wild. She even gets out of the car and starts hitting people, and it ends up being airport security broke up the fight, and the tow truck drivers agreed to release Michael's car. So he's saying, I can't believe she's here for just a few minutes and this happens. He says he's a very calm person, but like I say, if he doesn't act like this, then they'll take his things. She's shocked at how Michael handled himself, and then she starts to get turned on. So he's still, PO'd, and she's like smooching all over him, saying, good job, honey, you did great. And he was scared, and she's like, you're my superhero. So you start thinking, oh, that's sweet. They looked out for each other. Well, then they show him in their hotel room, right? And she starts unpacking and immediately brings out these handcuffs. And he's pointing out how she just wants to play and be lovey-dovey. And she gives him underwear to model and brings out body paint. And it is just one painfully awkward moment after another. You know her family's watching this. Ugh. He says she's excited because he's more sexually open this year, and says they have some stuff to work out, and they're kissing, and she ends up kicking the camera guy out of the room. So then we go over to Rebecca and Zied. Now remember, we're just about to meet his parents. They've been staying at this hotel, but his parents can't know that they've been staying together. But they're going to meet his parents, and they're going to stay the night with them. And they're both super nervous. She's in her traditional Tunisian outfit that he got her. He's explaining that they're very conservative Muslims, so there's no drinking, no tattoos. Of course, her arms are covered in tattoos. They can't talk about that they've shared a room. Like, these are all really big deals. And so they go to meet them, right? And he knocks on the door, and as soon as she walks in the door, she breaks, like, some heirloom. She calls it an heirloom anyway. It looks like a vase or a plate or something, but it shatters on the ground. What a heck of a first impression. So they greet each other, and they actually seem like super nice people. And they've made this big meal. It's set out in front of them, and they're saying Mom is saying that she's surprised when he said he's met an American. And it's kind of awkward at the dinner. They're having couscous. So they're asking, have you ever had couscous before? And she's like, yeah, I was married to a man from Morocco. And Dad they didn't know this. So Dad's saying marriage is sacred. And so that's not going well. She's trying to cover her tattoos, and she goes to take a drink or take a bite or something, and of course her arms are covered so you can see them. And oh my goodness. So Dad asks when they walk into the other room if the tattoos can be removed. And this Zied is saying, oh yeah, but he's saying no, they can't, but he's telling his dad yeah, just to make him feel better. And they're explaining that as Muslims they do not accept tattoos. And the mom says she will look much more beautiful without her tattoos. Zied is saying, I don't want to lose my parents over the girl that I want to marry. So it's a tough situation all the way around. So then we go back to Timothy and Jennifer in Colombia. She has slept over, and remember, things have not gone especially well since, they got together because she's a little jealous and he's a little shady. So they slept over, but nothing happened. He's saying they'll get physical when the time is right, and she's saying it feels good together. To wake up together. He respected me. He kept his hands to himself, but it's very strange that he didn't even try to kiss me. And Tim says he wants her to feel comfortable. He's not just here for sex. He's talking about taking things, to the next level and taking it slow. And she says, I just want you to conquer me. And she's telling him, just do it. And he feels so much pressure, and he's not making the move. So, I don't know. It's so cringy. He says he just wants to make sure that they're on the same page. So the plan for today is they're going to go meet her grandparents. Now, remember, she lives with them with her very young daughter. After she divorced, she said that they're the ones that support her a lot. And she really just doesn't want to get hurt again. Then we're back at Cancun. Now, Caesar is partying it up, no problem. He's waiting for his 5-year relationship, his love, Maria, from the Ukraine, to show up. So it was her idea, remember, to go to Cancun. And it's just been one thing after another. And this guy is like the eternal optimist that I will never be. He says he hasn't heard from her in like 4 days. She won't respond. So he doesn't know if she got on the flight, but he's hopeful because that's what he is. He's like the world's most optimistic human being. I've never, ever seen anything like it. He FaceTimes his friend Jeremy, remember that guy with the affliction, everything? And he's saying, Maria lands at 9 a.m. He hasn't heard from her, but, it'll be fine. And he's like, you haven't heard from her? Why do you think she got on the plane? And he's like, oh, yeah, she did. It'll work out. It's so crazy. So he wishes him luck. Okay, so then 10 hours later, he's getting dressed up. He's very nervous and excited. He got champagne and flowers and chocolates delivered. Really trying to do this up nicely, right? Oh my gosh. Oh, cringe. So then he's about to go get her, and he gets a message. The flight is canceled. And this got real weird because now we get a screenshot saying the reservation is canceled. And they talk about it, but I noticed the same thing. Like, what does that mean? The reservation is canceled. How does that work? So producer says, what is going on? And he cries and saying, there's no way. It doesn't make sense. And he calls Maria, and of course there's no answer. He said the flight was yesterday. Why is he just finding this out now? Producer asked if she canceled the flight, and Caesar says, I have no idea. I just don't know what to say. Then we're back for the comic relief of Darcey and Tom. They've been in London for a week. It's their last day before they head to Albania to see her sister and her sister's fiancé. And the trip has been going good, but Tom is holding back, especially with being intimate. And she said, we talk over drinks. I think that's when our connection deepened. And we took it to the bedroom. So we see her doing this ice stuff, and I just think she's preparing a drink or something. Nope. He has hurt his ankle doing the deed. So I just want to remind you, she also headbutted him like the first night that she slept in his bed. So this guy is getting all kinds of broken just to get something. So, oh, it's so weird. So it's just strange because these two just could not be on more opposite pages for everything. She thinks they're about to get engaged. He thinks it's like the first date. But he's saying he's glad he waited for them to get physical. And she's saying the last few days have been strange. I'm glad it happened. I want to see where it goes. She says being intimate took the relationship 10 steps in the right direction. So they go for a walk, right? And they're looking around and up jewelry store. So guess what she zeroes in on? Oh my gosh. So every time you think things might go okay, it's just a little awkward at the beginning, she does things like this. She points out engagement rings. He is so uncomfortable. He doesn't even hardly want to talk about it. But every time she can, she talks about engagement and marriage. And I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like when you're 20 years old, and it's your first relationship. It's so strange. Oh, so cringy. Then we go to Kenya. It's Ben and Akini. Now remember, he arrived yesterday. Thought he was going to stay at his Airbnb he rented. Nope. Forced to stay at Akini's brother's house. The brother wants to keep an eye on him, and Ben is saying it's just not going well so far as the brother goes. If Fidel, her brother, doesn't like him, he can terminate them dating, and he needs her brother to basically go to bat for him in talking to the dad. Akini says, I need Ben to impress my brother. They hug, they hold hands. It's cute to see them together. They seem really into each other, but they walk down the road, and she's explaining this is the first white people most of these people have ever seen. She said everybody is fascinated by him, and she's going over the rules for tonight. No touching. It's special occasion food, so you need to eat most of it. You want to sit to the left side of her brother. And he starts talking about, and he says he hopes that they end up getting engaged. He's worried about the bride price, where he offers the family a gift for Akini marrying him. He doesn't know how much that would be, and he's basically saying he doesn't have much money, but he is hoping to get engaged. And she doesn't know if her dad will like him or not. If dad doesn't like him, he will not bless them. And if he doesn't bless them, then they can't be together. Then we go to Omar and Avery. Now remember, they've been in Lebanon with her mom. 3 days ago they got there, and they're supposed to be getting married tomorrow. So tonight, Mom and Omar are going to go to dinner, just the two of them, and Avery's super nervous about it. He wants to talk to Mom, and, he just wants to take her out alone. And it's weird. He doesn't seem to like her much, and I don't know if she likes him either. He starts to talk to Mom about a dowry, and he's explaining that a dowry is a monetary payment, and I wasn't sure if he's asking her for it or what, but it sounds like in his culture, if they get divorced, the husband will have to pay whatever price they come up with to support his ex-wife. The sheikh will ask Mom for a dowry amount that Omar will pay if they get divorced. In Arab culture, the women get about 8% of assets. She says, so if you have to pay $10,000, you'll be on your P's and Q's. And he's like blown away by this, like $10,000. Sister's dowry is $6,000. So she's going to set it at $6,000. That's what his sister would get if her husband left. And Mom's concerned that the relationship is transactional and not a love thing. Mom says that my fear is Avery is not going to come back to the U.S. with me. She's going to try and run off with you. Omar says it's going to be hard for you. If I can get to the U.S., I will, but the process will be hard. And Mom's saying, what you're saying is if you don't get approved for the U.S. visa, you and Avery will live outside the U.S.? And he says yes. So it's weird that it's just sinking in now that would be the case. I understand that Avery is hidden that they're talking about moving to Syria together, but it's just strange that this is just coming up now. So then we go back to Tim and Jennifer. They are going to meet her grandparents. It's where Jennifer lives. She's very close to her family, and she's going to go introduce them. Jennifer's super anxious. She never brings men home. And they seem super nice. It's awkward. It's silent. But when they give interviews to the camera, they're open to it. They don't know what his intentions are. So Grandpa actually asks, what are your intentions with our granddaughter? And he says, I want to treat her well and spend a good life with her. And Grandma's saying Jennifer was married, but they got divorced. Can we trust you not to make her suffer? And Tim's explaining, well, we've both had our hearts severely broken. And the grandparents say he seems like a good guy, but that she's suffered so much, so they worry about her. So then it comes up, what do you think of Colombia? And he says it's his favorite country he's visited. He says he's been to Colombia 5 times for vacation in the past. And she's like, what? And they ask, why did he come before? And he says, I came to visit friends. Then he says to camera, I have a huge secret that I've kept from my past. And then he reveals that his last serious relationship was with a Colombian girl. And he's very scared to tell Jennifer because he doesn't know how she'll react. So then we go back to Darcey and Tom. Now, Darcey, again, I always point out, she is just always primping, always. So we see him getting ready, and then here she is getting ready. These are her pants. I know this is weird. She's pulling up her pants, and they show all this stuff. She's trying to zip herself into this crazy outfit because they're going to the club. And they're going to go meet up with some of his friends, and she ends up asking him, how do you know the people we're meeting with? And he said he dated one a little bit a few months ago, but they're just friends. I'm never going to say her name right, but they're meeting up with I think it's Rochelle and Daisy. And Rochelle is the one he dated. And oh my goodness, does he have a type? We'll get into that. So here is Daisy, and we're about to see Rochelle, the one he dated. That's her right there. You can't really see her, but she's coming up. There she is. Now, I do not mean that she and Darcey look alike. That's not what I mean. But he has a type because extensions, eyelashes, tons of makeup, the outfits, over the top. He has a type. This nerdy British guy likes these over-the-top women with big boobs. So that seems to be what he's going for. Here's Rochelle again. Okay. So, but she's a good friend of his, and they can talk pretty openly. So Daisy is asking if things are exclusive. So Rochelle says Darcey's an open book, whereas Tom is disconnected with his emotions sometimes. Tom disappears and closes himself off. So turns out he's been engaged twice. Both occasions they left him. And so that kind of explains this weird vibe I get from him where he's very self-important. I think it's like a defense mechanism. So Darcey gets up to go to the bathroom, and he asks his friends, what do you think? Well, Rochelle says, do you want the truth? I don't see you together. I want you to be happy. Do you love her? And it kind of forces him to say, I don't think I do. And Rochelle says, I don't think Tom is ready for a committed relationship. I wish he could be honest with himself about it all. And they ask, is she the one? And Tom's answer is, I've made so many mistakes. So that doesn't sound promising at all. So we're back to Akini and Ben. They're in Kenya. They are walking to her parents' house, and they're supposed to have a big dinner and meet her dad. And yeah, he's super nervous about it, understandably. He's he walks in, he sees everybody. He's so nervous thinking about where he's supposed to sit. Like, he's supposed to sit right next to her brother, that he totally snubbed her mom by accident. He didn't mean to, but he walked right past her, and apparently that's a big no-no. He he goes back, he meets her. Mom's already not impressed, and Mom calls Dad to see where he is, and Dad says he's, doing whatever, he'll be there when they finish eating. So Akini says, my dad is not home. That could mean he doesn't want to meet Benjamin. And so it's just so uncomfortable. Benjamin doesn't know what to say. Everybody's kind of intrigued with him and with what's going on. And he's so focused on trying to impress the brother. And it's just cringy and awkward. And they expected Dad to be there. Dad's not there. They end up having this big dinner, and they serve him a full fish. He's just not used to that. So they encourage him to eat the fish brains. And it just turns my stomach a little bit. But he says it's good, so he's trying to be polite. And it's just so much. So Akini, she ends up getting upset, and they never show exactly what it was that upset her. I think it was just the overall experience. She walks out of the house, and I thought it was because her dad didn't show, but when she goes outside, she said, my brother made me really upset. He made a comment, and it didn't go well. And Ben's trying to find out what the comment is, but she won't even tell him. Ben to camera says, I don't know what's going on. And I don't know what's happening. I'm only here for 2 weeks, and she's wanting to be alone, and she won't talk to me, and it's not okay. I don't have a choice. I can't do anything. So then we go to Rebecca and Zied. Now remember that they slept at his parents' house, and dinner was awkward because they saw her tattoo she was trying to hide. She slept in his bed alone because in Tunisia you don't share a bed until you're married. So he slept in bed with his mom. So we see that she is snooping around his bedroom, and she ends up finding a bag with pictures of herself and a letter she had written him. And I just want to show you, look at this letter that she wrote him. Does that not look like a high schooler wrote that? I mean, with the hearts and the big name, and she's so excited. It's so strange. She's so cringy about it. So she's super excited to see her letter in there. So she still has to she still has to come clean about being married. She still hasn't told him. He knew she was married, but he thought she's divorced. She's not divorced. She filed for divorce, but she's technically still married. They talk about the small apartment. This is where his dad has always lived since he was born. And we go out to see Mom and Zied, and they're talking. Mom is really struggling with this whole situation. He tells Mom that he wants to propose to her and says that if it goes well, he would move to America. Mom says she always hoped for a better life for Zied, but she is worried about this. She just doesn't know if it's going to work out. She was hoping he'd find a Tunisian woman, but he's not sure. She's not sure about the age difference and, the stuff she's seen. So then we go to Tim and Jennifer in Colombia. So he's met with the grandparents. He says it went well. He just doesn't want to lie. He wants to tell her why he was in Colombia before. He was acting like it was because he went to see friends, but it's because his ex lived there. Well, coincidentally, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, producers, he gets a text while he's in Colombia from that ex. And all it says is hola, and he says he doesn't respond, but he's so scared because he knows Jennifer's going to freak out. So they go to dinner, and she says she appreciates Tim's efforts, and she says, though, that she can tell he's hiding something. She noticed that he seems super stressed out. He tries to soften it by making her promise not to get mad at what he's about to tell her, and she says, I'm a human, I'll have a reaction. He says, well, you're going to take this the wrong way. He says, I got a text from my ex, and she says, Veronica? And he says, no, not her. Another one. Why even tell her about that? All it says is hola, and you didn't even answer, so. But He says his last girlfriend is from Bogota, Colombia. And she says, what? Do you really keep talking with your ex? And she wants to know, am I supposed to be like a replacement for this girl? And she doesn't I don't understand. Why did this not come up when they were talking? I find that so strange. Like when they were getting to know each other, why not just naturally say, oh yeah, I've been to Colombia, that's where my ex is from. I guess he didn't want to spook her, but I just think that's a weird detail to hide. So she demands to see the text. He's very uncomfortable, and he ends up pulling out his phone and showing it to her, and it just says hola, and it doesn't appear like he's responded to it. Well, Jennifer gets completely pissed. She is so mad about all of it. She gets pissed, and she throws her drink at him. She throws it at him right in the middle of the restaurant and just walks off. So he's sitting there covered in whatever she's drinking, and instead of this being a red flag for him, he says he's in shock and wondering how he can fix this. He really wants to fix this. He's afraid he's going to be heartbroken all over again. So then we go over to Angela and Michael. She's saying that the sex was great and happy to be waking up together. He's saying that he's really missed her, and we see this shot of the handcuff on the lamp. Yikes. So they're getting ready to finally go out and celebrate his birthday. That's all we can talk about is this birthday. And again, I didn't watch before, so he may be a creep, but from all I can see from this season, he seems like a really nice guy. He seems like he's into her, and she's holding these things over his head, and he's trying to do the best he can. Again, I might have this wrong. He might be scamming her, but he seems like a nice guy who just wants to make it work out with her. I don't know why, because, yeah. So she's saying you're still in trouble for going out on your birthday. She's still really ticked off with him about that because he went and had a drink with his nephew. And she says, this conversation ain't over. And how do you want me to trust you if you keep lying? Like, this is a continuous thing that comes up. She's saying he's lying. He's like, no. They talk about his social media problem. She says he's showboating with all these women. So she's super pissy about today. It's an hour drive and says she's still upset, but he doesn't seem to care. So they are just it's not going well. It's the first full day in Nigeria. You remember right after she got off the plane, they were like attacked in the car. So this trip is not going well. She says, have you been on a boat before? And he says, yeah, when I was younger, my uncle took me. Okay. She loses her mind. She has been looking at his social media and something rings a bell with her, and she remembers the same boat dock with women is what she's saying. So he's lying again, but they show a flash of the picture, and I saw women on the boat, but they looked like they were with other people. It didn't look like he was with women. It's hard to tell, but so her point is, you're lying to me again, and she says, cut this boat ride. I don't even want to go anymore. This was after they rode for an hour to get here for his birthday. She says, get your own hotel room, you GD liar. She says she's done with it all, and he's saying, no, it's not what it looks like. You've got this wrong. And she's saying she's done with Michael for good. And so, again, I ask if you've seen this. She seems like controlling and crazy. Does he share some of this responsibility, or is it all her? I can't really tell. So then we end up at Caesar. Okay, so Caesar's down in Cancun finding out that the flight is canceled. And he's saying, there's no way. And producer says, do you think she canceled the flight? And he's saying, I have no idea what happened. Maria's supposed to be in Mexico right now. Just find out her flight was canceled. Why didn't she tell me sooner? So he asks her, did you cancel the ticket? And she's like, no, I didn't cancel. I can't cancel. I didn't book it. This was so strange to me. He says he's going to call the airline and see what's up. So he calls, and the airline says, yeah, we canceled the reservation because your payment method was declined. It looks like the reservation was canceled for insufficient funds. The bank didn't allow the transaction to go through, basically. So he's hanging all his hope on this. He's saying, well, then she would be here. It's now my fault. I've got to fix this. I got to make this right. And says he'll do whatever it takes. So again, I'm so confused by the story. It seems like such an obvious catfish. So who is checking to see, like, who is this person on the other end that's figuring out that the flight is canceled? You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like all scamming, and I just don't understand what we're dealing with here. He's paid for this ticket once in cash to her, $2,000. Then when that didn't work out, he paid for the ticket himself online. Well, this is the one that's canceled, so that's not working out. So what's he going to do now? Pay for a third ticket? I really don't understand this at all. It just seems like such a big, obvious catfish, and he's so in denial about it, but I still don't quite understand. Did the scammer try to get a refund? Is that how they know the flight's canceled? If it's just a straight up scam, or wouldn't they even just not check the ticket and not go? I don't know where this is going. Well, that is it for the episode. You guys, I'm obsessed with this show. I love it so much. It's so good. Just so much going on. I've never watched a show like this. Each episode lasts about 90 minutes, and it's just packed full of so much drama and so many stories. And just when you get hooked on one story, it switches to another one you get hooked on. So it's crazy, but I love it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the comments. I read them all. I love them. You can find me here. You can find me on Twitter at Real Recaps. Or if you want to support the show, look at Patreon. Find me on Patreon. And I appreciate everything so much, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.